Title: Between What We Say. Chapter 1: The One I Shouldn't Look At. Ethan had learned one rule very early. Don't trust Leo Carter. Leo was everything Ethan wasn't: calm, sharp-eyed, effortlessly confident. He spoke only when necessary, but when he did, people listened. Teachers praised him. Students admired him. And Ethan? Ethan was constantly compared to him. That was how their rivalry began. A comparison. A quiet competition. A growing tension no one dared to name. "You're blocking the door," Ethan said, voice flat, standing behind Leo in the hallway. Leo turned slowly. His eyes lingered on Ethan for a second longer than needed. "You could have asked nicely." Ethan scoffed. "Why would I do that?" Leo stepped aside, but not fully. Their shoulders brushed. It was an accident. But neither of them moved away. For a split second, the world narrowed to the heat between them. Ethan felt it crawl up his spine, unfamiliar and dangerous. Leo's voice lowered. "Still pretending you hate me?" Ethan's breath hitched. "I don't pretend." Leo's lips curved, not a smile, not quite. "Sure." The bell rang. Noise flooded back into the hallway. Students rushed past them, breaking whatever invisible thread had pulled tight between them. Leo walked away without looking back. Ethan stood there, heart pounding harder than it should have. He told himself it was rivalry. He told himself it was anger. But anger didn't make you replay someone's voice in your head long after they were gone. And it definitely didn't make you wonder what it would feel like to stop fighting. Chapter 2: Paired Against Our Will. Ethan knew something was wrong the moment the professor said, "You'll be working in pairs." The room filled with groans and laughter. Names were called one by one. Ethan Blake. He straightened. Leo Carter. Silence. Then, murmurs. Ethan's head snapped up. Across the room, Leo looked just as surprised, though he hid it better. Their eyes met, locked for half a second too long. "Unbelievable," Ethan muttered. They sat together without speaking. The assignment was simple in theory: 2 weeks, one major project, but everything felt complicated with Leo beside him. Leo's notebook was neat, organized. Ethan's was messy, scribbled with half-formed ideas. "You're writing too fast," Ethan said, irritated. "I can't follow." Leo paused. "Then keep up." Ethan shot him a glare. "Still think you're better than everyone?" Leo finally looked at him fully. "I don't think I'm better than you." That stopped Ethan. "Then what do you think?" Leo hesitated. "Just a beat. I think you try too hard to look fearless." Ethan's throat tightened. No one had ever said that to him. "Don't analyze me," Ethan snapped. "I'm not," Leo replied softly. "I notice things." The room felt warmer. Smaller. They worked in tense silence after that, papers sliding across the desk, fingers almost touching more than once. Each near contact sent an unexpected jolt through Ethan's chest. At one point, Leo leaned over to correct something on Ethan's page. His shoulder brushed Ethan's arm. His scent, clean, faintly warm, lingered longer than it should have. Ethan pulled back too quickly. "Relax," Leo said quietly. "I'm not going to bite." Ethan laughed, sharp and defensive. "You wish." Leo's gaze flickered to Ethan's mouth before he looked away. "Maybe," he said. Ethan froze. Did he really just say that? The bell rang again, saving them both. As they packed up, Leo spoke without looking at him. My place. Tomorrow evening. We need to start early. Ethan hesitated. Going to Leo's place felt dangerous. But backing out felt worse. Fine, he said. But don't expect me to be nice. Leo smiled, small, private. I never do. Ethan watched him walk away, heart racing. This wasn't just rivalry anymore. It was something else. Something quiet. Something waiting. Chapter 3, After the door closed. Leo's apartment was quieter than Ethan expected. Clean. Minimal. Soft light spilling from a lamp near the couch. It felt intimate. Like stepping into a part of Leo no one else saw. You can sit anywhere, Leo said, setting his bag down. Ethan chose the chair opposite the desk, keeping distance on purpose. Didn't think you'd live somewhere this calm. Leo glanced at him. I like quiet. Ethan almost said I never imagined you'd be lonely, but swallowed it. They started working. At first, it was stiff, papers, notes, low voices. But slowly, the silence between them changed. It wasn't sharp anymore. It was heavy. Full. Ethan frowned at his screen. This part doesn't make sense. Leo moved closer, standing just behind him. Let me see. He leaned over Ethan's shoulder, pointing at the screen. Their arms brushed. This time, neither of them moved away. Leo's breath was warm against Ethan's neck. Ethan swallowed. You're too close. Leo didn't step back. Do you want me to be? The question was quiet. Careful. Dangerous. Ethan's fingers tightened around the mouse. His heart was loud, too loud. I don't know, he admitted. For a moment, Leo said nothing. Then he moved, not away, but around, crouching so they were eye to eye. You don't have to decide anything, Leo said softly. Neither do I. Ethan hated how kind that sounded. Why are you always so calm with me? Ethan asked. You should hate me. Leo's gaze softened. I tried. That single sentence hit harder than any argument ever had. Their eyes lingered. Ethan noticed things he'd never let himself notice before, the curve of Leo's mouth, the way his lashes cast shadows, how close he was. Too close. Ethan stood up suddenly, breaking the moment. We should take a break. Leo nodded, though something unreadable crossed his face. Yeah. They sat on opposite ends of the couch, pretending the air between them wasn't electric. Minutes passed. Then Leo spoke, voice low. You don't look at people the way you look at me. Ethan's breath caught. And you think I haven't noticed how you look at me? Silence. Not denial. Not anger. Just truth sitting between them. The clock ticked loudly on the wall. Nothing happened. And yet, everything had already changed. Chapter 4, when it wasn't supposed to hurt. Ethan didn't expect jealousy to feel like this. It hit him the next day, sharp and unwelcome, when he walked into class and saw Leo laughing with someone else. A guy from their course. Too close. Too easy. Leo smiled. Ethan's chest tightened. Since when does that bother me? He dropped into his seat harder than necessary. Leo noticed immediately. His eyes flicked toward Ethan, the smile fading just a little. Everything okay? Leo asked quietly. Perfect, Ethan replied, not looking at him. Leo didn't push. That somehow made it worse. Later, during group work, the other guy leaned toward Leo again, whispering something that made Leo chuckle. Ethan's fingers curled into his palm. He stood abruptly. I need air. Outside, the hallway was nearly empty. Ethan leaned against the wall, breathing out slowly, annoyed at himself. This is stupid. I don't get to feel like this. Footsteps approached. Ethan. Leo. Ethan didn't turn. Go back inside. Leo ignored that. Did I do something? Ethan laughed bitterly. You don't owe me explanations. Leo stepped closer anyway. Then why does it look like you're hurting? That did it. Ethan turned, eyes sharp. Why do you care? Leo didn't answer right away. Instead, he reached out, hesitated, then gently caught Ethan's wrist when he tried to pull away. The contact sent a shock through both of them. I care, Leo said softly, because when you walk away like that, it feels wrong. Ethan's breath stuttered. His wrist was warm where Leo held it. Safe. Steady. You were laughing with him, Ethan said before he could stop himself. Leo blinked. Then understanding dawned, and something tender followed. You were jealous. Ethan flushed. Don't say it like that. Leo smiled, not teasing this time. Gentle. Real. There's nothing between us, he said. Not like that. Then what is between us? Ethan asked quietly. Leo's thumb brushed over Ethan's wrist, slow, unconscious. I don't know, he admitted. But I don't want to lose it. Their hands shifted. Fingers slid together. This time, neither of them pulled away. For a moment, the world narrowed again, breath, warmth, closeness. Leo leaned in just slightly. Ethan tilted forward without thinking. So close. Too close. A door opened nearby. Voices echoed down the hall. They jumped apart instantly. Leo cleared his throat. We should go back. Ethan nodded, heart racing. Yeah. But as they walked side by side, their hands brushed once more. And this time, they stayed that way. Chapter 5, The Things We Don't Say Out Loud. Ethan didn't mean to text Leo that night. He told himself it was about the project. He told himself it was normal. Ethan, did you upload the notes? 3 dots appeared almost instantly. Leo, already done. Leo, you still awake? Ethan hesitated, then typed. Ethan, yeah. A pause. Leo, me too. It shouldn't have felt intimate. But it did, 2 people awake in the dark, choosing to talk instead of sleep. Ethan, you're weirdly organized. Leo, and you're weirdly chaotic. Leo, it works. Ethan smiled at his screen before he could stop himself. Ethan, don't get used to it. Leo, too late. Ethan said. Gone. Then back again. Why do you push people away when they get close? Leo said. Ethan's smile faded. Why do you stay? Ethan said. A long pause this time. Because when I'm with you, I don't feel like I'm pretending. Leo said. Ethan's chest tightened. He stared at the words, heart pounding. That's a dangerous thing to say. Ethan said. I know. Leo said with calm tone. They didn't text after that. But Ethan slept with his phone in his hand. The next day, it showed. Leo noticed first, Ethan's lack of sleep, the tension in his shoulders. During lunch, someone bumped into Ethan too hard, laughing it off. Watch it, Leo said sharply, stepping between them. Ethan froze. Leo's hand brushed Ethan's back, protective, instinctive. Too natural. The other guy muttered an apology and left. You didn't have to do that, Ethan said quietly. Leo looked at him. I wanted to. Their eyes held. Something unspoken passed between them. Later, while packing up, Leo leaned in and murmured, You okay? Ethan nodded. Then, softly, thanks. Leo smiled, small, sincere. Anytime. As they walked out together, Ethan realized something scared him more than hating Leo ever had. He liked being chosen. And he wasn't sure how to stop wanting more. Chapter 6, The Space Between Heartbeats. It happened on a rainy evening. Classes ended late, and the sky opened up just as Ethan stepped outside. He cursed under his breath, pulling his jacket tighter. Ethan. Leo stood a few steps away, holding an umbrella. You planned this? Ethan asked dryly. Leo smiled. I checked the weather. They walked together, closer than necessary to stay dry. The rain drowned out everything else, the world felt distant, wrapped in grey. My place is closer, Leo said. We can wait it out. Ethan hesitated. Then nodded. The conversation drifted. From the project to classes, to nothing at all. Minutes turned into an hour. Can I ask you something? Said Leo. Depends. Inside, the apartment felt warmer than before. Safer. Rain tapped softly against the windows. They sat on the couch this time, not pretending to keep distance. You're quiet, Leo said. Ethan shrugged. Just thinking. About? Ethan stared at the floor. I don't let people see me. Not really. Leo didn't interrupt. I joke. I argue. I push, Ethan continued. It's easier than trusting. Leo shifted closer, not touching, but close enough that Ethan felt his presence. You don't have to explain yourself to me. That's the problem, Ethan said softly. I want to. Silence stretched, gentle, not uncomfortable. Leo spoke carefully. There's something you should know about me too. Ethan looked up. I don't fall for people easily, Leo said. When I do, it scares me. Their eyes met. The air felt heavy, charged. Ethan's voice was barely a whisper. So why risk it? Leo reached out, fingers brushing Ethan's hand. Not holding. Just there. Because some people are worth the fear. Ethan's breath caught. Their hands shifted, fingers slowly intertwining, as if asking permission with every movement. Leo leaned in, stopping just short. If you want me to stop. Don't, Ethan said. They stayed like that. Foreheads almost touching. Breath shared. But they didn't kiss. Not yet. Because some moments weren't about crossing the line. They were about choosing to stay on the edge together. Chapter 7, When the World Starts Watching. Ethan noticed the whispers first. They followed him down the hallway, floated just behind his shoulders, quiet but sharp enough to sting. Have you seen them together lately? Since when do they talk? They used to hate each other. Ethan kept his head down. He told himself it didn't matter. But then he saw Leo at his locker, jaw tight, expression carefully blank, and something in Ethan's chest twisted. People are talking, Ethan said under his breath when they finally found a moment alone. Leo nodded casually. I know. You okay with that? Ethan asked. Leo studied him. Are you? Ethan didn't answer. Because the truth scared him. Later that day, someone said it louder. Clearer. So what's the deal with you and Carter? A classmate asked, smirking. Enemies to best friends now. Ethan felt heat rush to his face. He opened his mouth. It's none of your business, Leo said calmly, stepping in front of Ethan. The room went quiet. Leo's voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. The guy laughed awkwardly. Relax. Just asking. Don't, Leo replied. Afterward, they walked out together, shoulders brushing. You didn't have to do that, Ethan murmured. Yes, Leo said simply. I did. Outside, the sky was pale with evening light. Ethan stopped walking. This is going to get harder, he said. People won't stop. Leo turned to face him. Then look at me. Ethan did. I don't care what they think, Leo continued. But I care what you feel. Ethan's voice trembled. I'm scared. Leo stepped closer, lowering his voice. So am I. For a moment, the world felt too close. Too loud. Leo's hand brushed Ethan's sleeve, comforting, grounding. We don't have to define anything yet, Leo said. We just have to be honest with each other. Ethan nodded slowly. Okay. As they walked on, their hands didn't quite touch, but the space between them felt thinner than ever. The world had started watching. And neither of them was ready to look away. Chapter 8, When Holding Back Hurts More. The breaking point came quietly. Not with shouting. Not with drama. It came with distance. Leo had been quieter all day. Short answers. Avoiding eye contact. Ethan felt it like a bruise he kept pressing without meaning to. After class, Ethan followed him. "Are you going to tell me what's wrong?" Ethan asked, "or keep pretending I won't notice?" Leo stopped. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, softly, "I'm trying to protect you." "From what?" Ethan snapped. "From yourself." Leo turned, eyes dark. "From being hurt because of me. That hurt more than anything else. So you just disappear." Ethan's voice cracked. "You think that helps?" Leo stepped closer, frustration breaking through his calm. "You don't understand how hard it is to want you and still think I should walk away." Silence slammed down between them. Ethan laughed weakly. "You don't get to decide that alone." Leo looked at him then, really looked at him. "Do you know what you do to me?" Ethan's breath caught. "Then say it." Leo's control slipped. His hand came up, gripping Ethan's jacket, not rough, just desperate. "I think about you all the time," Leo admitted. "I replay every look, every almost touch. I hate how much power you have over me." Ethan's eyes burned. "Good," he whispered. "Because you have the same power over me." That was all it took. Leo leaned in. Ethan met him halfway. Their foreheads touched first. Breathing tangled. Lips a breath apart. Leo hesitated, just a second. "If we do this." "I know," Ethan said. Their lips met. Soft. Careful. Real. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't desperate. It was the kind of kiss that felt like a promise whispered in the dark. When they pulled back, they stayed close, hands still gripping fabric. Nothing else happened. Chapter 9, Loving You in Silence. Nothing changed. And everything did. In public, Ethan and Leo were careful. They sat apart. Spoke normally. Argued when needed. To everyone else, they still looked like rivals who barely tolerated each other. But in quiet moments. A brush of fingers under the table. A look held a second too long. A smile meant for only one person. They met in stolen spaces now. Empty classrooms. Late library corners. Leo's apartment when the world felt too loud. They didn't rush. They learned each other slowly, how Ethan liked his coffee too sweet, how Leo relaxed when Ethan traced idle circles on his wrist. How silence with the right person didn't feel empty at all. One evening, curled together on the couch, Ethan rested his head against Leo's shoulder. "This feels unreal," Ethan murmured. Leo's arm tightened around him. "Does it scare you?" Ethan nodded. "A little." Leo kissed his hair, gentle. "Me too." There were moments of fear. Of watching doors. Of pulling apart too fast when footsteps passed. The happiness came with edges. "What if someone finds out?" Ethan asked one night. Leo didn't answer immediately. "Then, honestly, then we'll face it. Together." Ethan smiled at that. Soft. Vulnerable. Later, when Ethan was half asleep, he whispered, "I don't hate you anymore." Leo smiled into his hair. "I never really hated you." They stayed like that, holding onto the quiet, knowing it couldn't stay hidden forever. But for now, loving each other in silence was enough. Chapter 10, Almost Found Out. It almost happened on a normal day. That was the worst part. Ethan and Leo were in the library, pretending to study. Leo leaned over to whisper something, too close. Too familiar. Someone cleared their throat behind them. Ethan pulled back instantly. His heart slammed against his ribs. "Sorry," a voice said. "Didn't mean to interrupt." The person walked away, but the damage was done. Ethan couldn't focus after that. His hands shook. Every sound felt too loud. Later, outside, he snapped. "We're being careless." Leo frowned. "We were just talking." "You were leaning in," Ethan said. "People notice things." Leo's jaw tightened. "So what are you saying?" "I'm saying we need to stop meeting like this," Ethan said quickly. "At least for a while." The words hurt as soon as they left his mouth. Leo went very still. "Stop us?" "No, just," Ethan struggled. "I'm scared." Leo looked away. "You think I'm not?" Silence stretched, sharp and painful. "I don't want to be your secret only when it's convenient," Leo said quietly. "That's not fair," Ethan replied. "I'm trying to protect us." Leo shook his head. "It doesn't feel like protection. It feels like you're ashamed." That word cut deep. "I'm not ashamed of you," Ethan said, voice breaking. "I'm afraid of losing everything." Leo met his eyes then, hurt clear, unhidden. "And I'm afraid of losing you." They stood there, neither knowing how to fix it. When Leo finally spoke again, his voice was distant. "Maybe we need some space." Ethan nodded, though it felt like agreeing to something he didn't want. They walked away in opposite directions. For the first time since the kiss, Ethan wasn't sure if love would be enough. Chapter 11, Loving You from a Distance. The space between them was louder than any argument. Ethan felt it everywhere, in the empty seat beside him, in the silence of his phone, in the way his chest ached when he saw Leo across the room and couldn't reach for him. They didn't talk. Not really. Short glances replaced conversations. Almost smiles replaced touch. At night, Ethan replayed everything he'd said. Everything he hadn't. Ashamed. The word haunted him. Across campus, Leo wasn't sleeping either. He went through the motions, but everything felt muted. Loving Ethan had never felt like a mistake, hiding him did. One evening, Ethan sat alone on the steps outside, staring at nothing. "I miss him," he whispered to the dark. He stood up suddenly, decision settling in his bones. "I can't keep doing this." Leo was at his apartment when the knock came. He opened the door, and froze. Ethan stood there, breathless, eyes shining with something fierce and afraid. "I was wrong," Ethan said immediately. "I shouldn't have asked for space. I shouldn't have made you feel like something to hide." Leo's voice was careful. "Ethan." "I'm scared," Ethan continued. "But I'm more scared of losing you than of anyone finding out." Silence fell. Leo searched his face. "You can't say that unless you mean it." "I do," Ethan said. "I choose you. Even if it's hard." Leo pulled him into a hug before Ethan could say anything else. Ethan melted into it, gripping Leo's jacket like he might disappear. "I don't need grand gestures," Leo murmured. "I just need honesty." Ethan nodded against his shoulder. "You have it. All of it." They didn't kiss. They didn't rush. They just held each other, letting the distance finally close. Love had survived the silence. Now it needed courage. Chapter 12, Choosing Us. The decision wasn't planned. It never was. It happened during a group presentation, when Ethan stood at the front of the class and felt his hands shake, not from nerves, but from the weight of hiding. Leo sat in the second row, watching him the way he always did. Steady. Supportive. Unafraid. Ethan finished speaking. Applause followed. As he walked back to his seat, someone whispered, "You and Carter spend a lot of time together." Ethan stopped. The room felt too quiet. He looked at Leo. Leo didn't nod. Didn't push. He simply met Ethan's gaze and waited. Ethan exhaled. "Yes," he said clearly. "I do." A few people looked surprised. Some confused. No one laughed. Ethan sat down beside Leo, not across the room, not pretending. Leo's breath hitched, just slightly. After class, the hallway buzzed with murmurs. Ethan's pulse raced, but his back was straight. "You okay?" Leo asked softly. Ethan smiled, small but real. Terrified. Leo's hand brushed his, just once, just enough. "I'm proud of you." They didn't announce anything. They didn't owe explanations. But they stopped hiding. They walked together. Studied together. Sat closer than before. Some people stared. Some didn't care. Life kept moving. That evening, on the rooftop of Leo's building, Ethan leaned against the railing. "I thought it would feel heavier," he admitted. Leo stood beside him. "And it feels honest." Leo turned, eyes warm. "That's all I ever wanted." Ethan smiled. Then, for the first time without fear, he leaned in and kissed him, slow, sure, in the open air. The city kept breathing around them. So did they. Chapter 13, Stronger Than the Noise. Not everyone was kind. Ethan felt it in the looks that lingered too long, in the conversations that stopped when he and Leo walked past. Some people smiled politely. Others didn't bother hiding their discomfort. One comment slipped through during lunch. "So, you two are a thing now?" Ethan stiffened. Leo answered calmly, "Yes." There was a pause. Then a shrug. "Didn't expect that." Leo didn't flinch. "You don't have to." That night, Ethan sat on Leo's bed, knees pulled up. "Does it ever get easier?" he asked quietly. Leo lay beside him, facing him. "Not always. But it gets clearer." Ethan frowned. "Clearer?" "You stop wondering if love is worth the effort," Leo said. "You just know." Ethan reached out, tracing the line of Leo's hand. "I don't want to fight all the time." Leo smiled softly. "Then don't. Choose me. I'll choose you back." The next few days proved it. When someone muttered something cruel, Ethan stayed silent, but Leo squeezed his hand. When Leo hesitated before entering a room, Ethan stepped in first. They learned to protect each other without walls. One afternoon, rain started suddenly. They ran for cover, laughing breathlessly, soaked and unbothered. Ethan leaned into Leo under the awning. "You know," he said, "we used to be terrible to each other." Leo chuckled. "We were. And now?" Leo pressed a gentle kiss to Ethan's temple. "Now we're honest." Ethan smiled, resting his forehead against Leo's. The noise of the world faded. They weren't perfect. But they were steady. And that was stronger than anything else. Chapter 14, What We Stand For. The test didn't come loudly. It came in the form of opportunity. Leo was offered a short-term academic program, prestigious, intense, and far from campus. Everyone congratulated him. Everyone assumed he would go. Ethan smiled when Leo told him. "You should," he said. "You've earned it." Leo studied him carefully. "Say that again." "I mean it," Ethan replied. "I don't want to be the reason you hold back." Leo reached for his hand. "You never are." The days leading up to the decision were heavy with unspoken fear. Distance. Time. What ifs? One evening, they walked through the campus garden, leaves rustling softly. "What if we change?" Ethan asked. "What if distance makes us strangers again?" Leo stopped, turning to him. "Then we find each other again." Ethan's chest tightened. "You're not scared?" Leo smiled gently. "I am. But love isn't about staying where it's safe." The night before Leo had to respond, Ethan showed up at his door. "I don't want to lose you," Ethan said simply. Leo pulled him close. "You won't." The next day, Leo accepted the program. Not as an ending. As a promise. They stood together on the platform when the announcement was made, no hiding, no pretending. Ethan squeezed Leo's hand. "Come back to me." Leo kissed his knuckles. Always. They watched the sun dip below the horizon, knowing this wasn't goodbye. It was trust. Chapter 15, where we begin again. The platform looked the same. Same benches. Same distant noise. Same smell of metal and rain. But Ethan wasn't the same. He stood there with his hands in his pockets, heart beating steadily instead of wildly. Waiting didn't feel like fear anymore. It felt like faith. When he saw Leo step off the train, time slowed. Leo looked tired. Older somehow. Stronger. Their eyes met. Nothing else mattered. They didn't rush. They walked toward each other, like they had all the time in the world. When they stopped, Ethan let out a breath he'd been holding for months. Chapter 14, What We Stand For. The test didn't come loudly. It came in the form of opportunity. Leo was offered a short-term academic program, prestigious, intense, and far from campus. Everyone congratulated him. Everyone assumed he would go. Ethan smiled when Leo told him. "You should," he said. "You've earned it." Leo studied him carefully. "Say that again." "I mean it," Ethan replied. "I don't want to be the reason you hold back." Leo reached for his hand. "You never are." The days leading up to the decision were heavy with unspoken fear. Distance. Time. What ifs? One evening, they walked through the campus garden, leaves rustling softly. "What if we change?" Ethan asked. "What if distance makes us strangers again?" Leo stopped, turning to him. "Then we find each other again." Ethan's chest tightened. "You're not scared?" Leo smiled gently. "I am. But love isn't about staying where it's safe." The night before Leo had to respond, Ethan showed up at his door. "I don't want to lose you," Ethan said simply. Leo pulled him close. "You won't." The next day, Leo accepted the program. Not as an ending. As a promise. They stood together on the platform when the announcement was made, no hiding, no pretending. Ethan squeezed Leo's hand. "Come back to me." Leo kissed his knuckles. Always. They watched the sun dip below the horizon, knowing this wasn't goodbye. It was trust. Chapter 15, where we begin again. The platform looked the same. Same benches. Same distant noise. Same smell of metal and rain. But Ethan wasn't the same. He stood there with his hands in his pockets, heart beating steadily instead of wildly. Waiting didn't feel like fear anymore. It felt like faith. When he saw Leo step off the train, time slowed. Leo looked tired. Older somehow. Stronger. Their eyes met. Nothing else mattered. They didn't rush. They walked toward each other, like they had all the time in the world. When they stopped, Ethan let out a breath he'd been holding for months. "You're late," Ethan said softly. Leo smiled. "I came back." That was enough. Ethan stepped forward, wrapping his arms around him. Leo held him just as tightly, pressing his face into Ethan's shoulder. "I missed you," Leo murmured. Ethan laughed quietly. "You have no idea." They pulled back, still close. Leo brushed his thumb along Ethan's cheek, familiar and new all at once. "You still choose me?" Leo asked. Ethan answered without hesitation. "Every day." They walked through campus together as the sky darkened, fingers intertwined, no urgency to hide, no fear chasing them. Later, on the rooftop where it had all changed, Ethan leaned into Leo's chest. "We were enemies once," he said. Leo kissed his hair. "We were scared." "And now?" Ethan asked. Leo smiled against him. "Now we're home." The city lights flickered on below them. Love didn't arrive loudly. It stayed. And that was everything. Special chapter, Still Us. It was a quiet night. No deadlines. No rumors. No eyes watching. Just Leo and Ethan, alone in Leo's apartment, city lights glowing softly through the window like they were part of something private. Ethan lay on the couch, his head resting on Leo's chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. "I like this version of us," Ethan murmured. Leo smiled, fingers gently running through Ethan's hair. "Which version?" "The one where we don't have to fight the world every second," Ethan said. "Where it's just us." Leo tilted his head slightly so he could kiss Ethan's forehead. Slow. Lingering. Familiar. "You know," Leo said quietly, "I used to think love had to be loud to be real." Ethan shifted, looking up at him. "And now?" "Now I know it can be this," Leo replied. "Quiet. Steady. Certain." Ethan's eyes softened. "You're my safest place." Leo's breath caught for just a moment. He had faced pressure, judgment, distance, but nothing ever felt heavier than loving Ethan and realizing how deeply he mattered. "You're mine too," Leo said. "Even on days when we're tired. Even when we argue. Even when the world feels like too much." Ethan smiled, that small smile that always undid him. "Promise." Leo didn't hesitate. "Promise." They kissed then, not rushed, not desperate. Just warm and sure, like something that had found its home. Later, they stood by the window, Ethan wrapped in Leo's arms from behind, hands laced together. "Do you ever think about the future?" Ethan asked. "All the time," Leo answered. "And you're always there." Ethan leaned back against him, eyes closing. "Good. Because I don't want a future that doesn't include you." Leo tightened his hold, resting his chin on Ethan's shoulder. Enemies. Secret lovers. Partners. They had been all of it. And now? They were simply two people choosing each other, every day, without fear. Outside, the city kept moving. Inside, love stayed. Follow BL Without Labels for more interesting stories. Comment below your opinions, like, share, support.